I have not a lot of battery on this because I thought I charged my battery and it didn't. But anyway, Austin is at work. And we normally carpool to work, but I didn't have work today, and so normally it's not an issue because like we'll go at the same time. But I do have my yarn because I have to work on this design project. I finally wound them, as you just saw. So I have my little like lemon woods here. Oh, this one is like this fun little art deco-y one, and then this one is the original one that I got, the honeybee. I love them, but I figured I can design stuff and just like have a little chat in the car with the coffee that I made. I had the windows cracked because it's like 59, but I'm sitting directly in the sunlight to have best view for this. Hopefully there's not a lot of car sounds. We'll find out when I edit. Yeah, let's have a little car chat and crochet, shall we? Any hoozles? If you watched the last design vlog, which I'll put up in the corner, I still don't know which corner I'm supposed to be pointing to. Sorry. Know that I'm working on a pattern from, well, there's no pattern yet. I'm writing a pattern with yarn from Seismic Yarn, and this is what they look like wound. So this is Wish, right? Yeah. And then this is 8 is Great. They're adorable. Like, I'm really happy with how these colors turned out, and I think even now seeing them caked like this, that this is going to be even better of a pairing and thrill my little rave heart. So it's a matter of figuring out how the actual fuck I'm going to do this. Oh yeah, we have a lot of new subscribers here because Threads has really been doing wonderful things for me. I'm very thankful for that. But that being said, if you don't like swearing and just, I'm probably not going to be the right channel for you. I'm so sorry. I enjoy profanity and ridiculousness. In my last video, I said that my ideal design style is slutty. Like, I'd say sorry if I meant it. I don't mean it. It's also going to be difficult to get monetized with how much I swear, but from what I understand, you just got to make it through the first minute without a swear word. I feel like I could do that. Maybe. Anyway, grab a drink. I have the toasted hazelnut coffee with the silk sweet. It was in the beginning. That's what I'm drinking today, and let's just have a little chit chat, shall we? Also, I'm unsure of how I want to do this portion, because design-wise, I already know what I'm doing, right? I'm making my sketch. I'm making this like hood thing, and in order to do the hood thing, I have to make this 2 rectangles. Actually, let's consult Pinterest and see what Pinterest says about putting things together. Because from my costume background, and as we talked about in the first one, in the first video, making a hood is really easy. It's 2 rectangles, side A to side A, side B to side B, stitch and flip, and then you have your hood, and then you put the collar around the rest. So for this design, I think it makes more sense for me to start with a square, and I know I want it to be like lacy. I'm a big fan of the iris stitch, but I only have 800 something yards, and I wonder if that's going to require too much yarn to do it and give me the full effect, and then that'll be a really heavy hood, and I don't really want a heavy hood. I mean, this is also fingering weight, so I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I have my tape measure, so let's see. I'm going to take this down so I stop hitting myself in the face with it first. Let's see how big I actually want this hood to be, and I'm going to use inches. I'm sorry, rest of the world, but I operate in inches. What if we did 20 by 15? And then this, I don't think is going to be too hard to frog because we can just kind of see. I don't know. I'm going to look online because I thought about doing the iris. I thought about doing like an open V or like a spike, something that's really cool. I also had the consideration of, for your consideration, I also had the thought process of doing like a granny square and just making like a granny rectangle and putting 2 of the rectangles together and having it be that way. But I don't know how that would look with the rest of it. I think it would be freaking cool with a spike stitch. This is what the spike stitch looks like in a granny square. It has like a really cool tooth effect on it. But if I did it where it was like this one for 1 regular row and 1 spiked row, and then the green for a regular and then a spike, that would add this really cool like layered tooth effect to it, and I think that would look really neat on the hood. And my only issue is I don't want it to look so cut and dry, because this is being designed specifically for EDC. Like, I don't know if people are going to wear it. I did have somebody comment on one of my other videos saying that they're a retired raver and they're really excited to see this and they would love to pattern test when I decide to do an open pattern test call. I see you. I remember you. Thank you. But the idea there, I don't want it to be like super heavy. So if I did this for EDC, there's a lot of like openness and honestly nudity. There's just so much, like, you're showing everything that you got and nobody cares because it's, you know, plur, right? Like peace, love, unity, respect all the way through. So people are just being themselves and like showing off what they have in a way that doesn't feel super sexualized, which I'm here for. It's got that slutty energy, but it's like slutty for me, not slutty for everybody else, which love. So I'm trying to think what the best way to do that is. So I could do like a chain and do these V's and do it. I could do a diamond. Actually, diamond might work. This vlog is great because also I don't know what delivery truck is behind me, but it's really loud. It's right there. I don't know what it is. Can I read? Sugio Toscano? All right. Anyway, diamonds would be cool because it give that like chain lacy effect. And this video is fun for me. That's what I was saying. Vlogs are really fun because I am doing this in real time. So you're watching my thought process as I'm trying to like figure out what's happening here. So the idea of chain, V, well, it would be diamond first, right? Chain, diamond, diamond, chain, diamond, diamond. I kind of dig that. The only way I'm going to make this work is if I do it and frog it if I hate it. I hate everything about my thought process. I thought it'd be a little more specific with it. Whatever. I'm going to go look at some stitches, some lacy, airy stitches, and come back. Yeah. Well, that took me all of like 40 seconds. So I found this. It's from the Nordic Hook. It is called the Eyelet and Block Stitch. I love it. It's this like fishnetty web, but it has a ridge in it. I'm going to modify it though. So you can, the post is linked right here because this is from Pinterest and I want to give them credit for what they have. This is their tutorial. I'm not going to teach you how to do it. Look it up on your own. I will say though, I'm going to change this to where they're using single crochets. I'm going to turn the singles into double crochets, and their double crochets I'm going to turn into triple crochets because I want this to be airier, right? I want it to have more space, and I think this is great, but I definitely want more like laciness, and because I'm using a thinner yarn than this, I think that'll make a really cool texture. And then I'm going to alternate it. So I'm going to make 2 panels and then sew the panels together with a stitch in the middle, which I already have picked out. I already know. But this I'm going to do green starting on this side and then go through and then do so like Wish will start on this side and then 8 is Great will start on this side. I need to stop calling them green and pink because that's not what they are. And then when I put it together, it'll look like one continuous stripe because of the way that it's sewn together. She's a thinker, kind of. I do, however, think this is going to be an absolute bitch with color changes because I'm going to have to sew everything in. So if you're the type of person who is like, I don't really care for color changes, I can just yarn over and like carry the yarn. I don't think that's gonna work in this pattern, bro. I'm so sorry for your loss. Anyway, let's get started. Yeah? I want to start with 8 is Great. Excuse me? Stomach? This is a multitude of 4 plus 2. So I'm just going to regret everything about my life and counting to make it, what did we say, 25? Oh. I realized an issue. If I'm doing it like this, and it goes this way, netting goes that way, versus netting. Yeah, no, this will work. Okay, so if we do it this way, this means that the like eyelet webs will be going down the sides and give you that ridge. We're good. I figured it out. So I have to make the chains for 20 inches. I would say do a gauge swatch, but the gauge doesn't really matter because it's my stitches now, doesn't it? Okay, all right, I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a tail just because I don't want to risk anything. This is really inconvenient being here. I'm actually going to move this to the other side, and we're just going to pull across myself and whatever. I don't know how you all start your yarn, but I guess I can show you how I do mine, because I know I have some people who found my channel through Threads, which Threads has been great for growing my channel. Really nice engagement there. To make myself easier with the slip stitch before I start doing a chain, I literally just take, you can barely see me, I just take the yarn here, and I'll take my 2 fingers, and I cross it around and then over so that I have this little like X situation, and then I'm gonna go with my hook, I go under the X, right? And then I hook, I'm looking at myself in the thing to make sure I'm doing this right. I'm gonna hook here and pull that up, and then I just tighten it and it makes a slip. Okay? Again, to do that easier, because I feel like somebody's gonna need it, over to make your X, under the first one, grab the second one, pull through. Boom. Literally the easiest way I've ever made a slip stitch. Now I don't think about it and life is good. Let's make these chains that are gonna take me some time. Yeah? Okay. I have to count. I'm not good at counting. So I'll be back. So I ended up going just slightly over the 20-inch mark, just because it was easier for me number-wise to like remember the numbers that I'm doing. It's fine. But this is my chain so far for my hood, which I think is going to be freaking... Did I do it wrong? I sure fucking did. I'm angry at the world. Hold, please. Hi, I honestly don't know what that noise is in the background. I'm sorry. I've started doing Make Up Your Leaf. Oh, you can't see any of that. I've started doing the chains. I gotta tell you, I love fingering weight yarn because I live in Southern California, and it is lovely to be able to wear the things that I spend for fucking ever making year round. The problem, you see how tiny these are? You see these itty bitty chains? I have to skip 3 and then add 1 into it for over 100 of these. I hate myself. Just not even a self-esteem issue. It's just like, this was stupid. This was a dumb decision, but this is gonna look really cool once I actually get it there. Cause so far I think this is like really nifty, nifty looking. So anyway, I am like 10 out of 100 of these in. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. I started doing this. I'm going to finish this first round to get to a color change, and then I'm probably gonna grab some lunch because I'm hungry. As I've mentioned, I can't count and think at the same time. She's pretty, she's not smart. Said no one ever. I really like the Threads community, right? It really gives that like chat room feel that we used to have with AIM, and I don't care if it's aging me. I absolutely was the type of girly who had that on my phone. I had a Sidekick phone, and I loved it, and I would be on AIM pretty much at all times with away messages and stuff, and Threads gives me that same kind of we're all here chat room and your friends will reply when they're available kind of thing, which I really enjoy. I mean, I also used to be on AIM and like Neopets at the same time, so thriving. Anyway, point of the matter with Threads in this random conversation is that sometimes there's things on Threads that I don't necessarily agree with, which is totally not a big deal, but I want a social media where I can interact with people. I want the chat room style conversations. I want to feel like I'm part of something. Like when I log in, there's people that I enjoy seeing and having conversations with that kind of disassociates in a positive way from the absolute bullshit of the world that I'm living in right now. And I definitely have some people in there. Moonglow, love you dearly. Actually, don't know if you watch my YouTube videos, but surprise shout out. Or like Smeeny. I love Smeeny. Smeeny goes wild. Love you. Right? Is that how you say your name? I'm gonna look it up because I don't want to sound like an asshole. Is it Smeeny? Shmeeny? Shmeeny. Maybe, baby. Yeah, Smeeny Made Wild. Made Wild. Smeeny Made Wild. I'm screwing up names. But Smeeny's content I love, and now I watch all of her YouTube videos from it, and I met her on Threads. Like, that was a huge connection that I made there. So there is opportunity for it, but there's some people that don't. So this thread that I got into it with is someone posted, mind you, they have like 30,000 followers on Threads, which is an impressive number. They're a crochet account, and they posted a post asking what people's opinions were if you have an error in a crochet pattern. Like, they're a pattern designer, which we all know how I feel about things, and they're selling patterns, and somebody, rather than reaching out to them, just left them a 1-star review. The way that the post was written was like, and I don't want to put their name out here, not because I'm like hiding it and I don't want them to know what it said, it's because I don't want to give them any more traction. I didn't like their responses, I didn't like the way they handled this, and I don't want to have anyone else go to their thing because I think it's really shitty to be this type of person. I said what I said. They posted, they're like, oh, well, what's your opinion if you buy a pattern from somebody and there's an error in the pattern? And they wrote at the beginning, they're like, I forgot to specify the magic ring at the beginning, human error, we all understand. And the person just left a 1-star review. They're like, they never really reached out to me, like, what would you do in this situation? And several people were like, oh, I would obviously email the buyer or the maker and try and figure out what's going on and see if they would do an update. Like, I wouldn't just leave a 1-star review. And I responded, and I was not friendly. I was like, okay, well, if you're missing something like that, it means that you're not utilizing testers and tech editors for your patterns, and I automatically have issues with that because as I've said on this channel multiple times, I feel that you shouldn't be releasing a pattern until it's at least been tested. I understand that not everyone can afford a tech editor. However, I don't think that's a good enough excuse, especially considering that when I went to SoCal Fiber, I had like 5 or 6 people offer to tech edit for me for free. They were just like, hey, send me your patterns. I would love to check it over for you and offer this. We need more designers in this space. So there's, in my opinion, no excuse. That's just like a due diligence thing, and sucks to suck. So basically, I posted that, and I was like, you're obviously not doing your due diligence if that's the situation. Like, I may not leave a 1-star review immediately because that's not just who I am. I just know not to buy from you again. It's like, unless it's a genuine, like, serious fuck up and they've done a really bad job with it, I'm not just going to be like, trash your business. However, I'm not going to buy from you again, and I'm going to tell other people not to buy from you. And I personally feel that reviews are like on your page, and that's for the business, but the word of mouth is even worse, because if one person watches my videos and they know who I'm talking about, and they're like, oh yeah, I won't buy their patterns either, sucks for you. But I do think it falls on you for your due diligence. And so that's what I said. I was like, that, and then, and then I put in, it's not a customer's job to reach out to you. Like, this is transactional. It is not my job as somebody who buys from you. If I buy something and it's not accurate, I don't owe you a, hey, this wasn't accurate. The only time it's different is like, these are Brewmate cups, right? I love them, whatever, link, all these things. I swear by these cups. If I buy one of these cups and it comes damaged, I'm going to reach out to them, because then it's not about a negative review. It's about like, I paid for this, give me what I paid for. But if you are reviewing, like if you're a pattern, if you're posting a pattern and that's like a completed item, it should be complete and it should be correct. It shouldn't have errors in it. And I'm not talking like little spell check errors. I understand that sometimes things fall through the cracks. That's not an issue. But to miss a foundation part of it really bothered me. So I posted that. And somebody wrote back and they're like, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree with all of it, because the point of the community is to like grow, and you can make, hold on, let me just find it actually, because I don't want to paraphrase anything, but I was genuinely like, get the fuck out of here. They're like, yeah, I can't agree with all of it. Like, not everyone can afford a tech editor, and some may just be selling the odd pattern. I think it's more annoying if odd pattern, I can speak English. And some may be selling the odd pattern. I think it's more annoying if it's a higher price for the pattern and there are errors. As a customer, I'd reach out and let companies know when it is, because how else are they supposed to get feedback and grow and learn? By testing their fucking patterns. What do you mean, how are they supposed to get it? Like, this irritated me. I was like, I don't believe in cutting corners as a business. If you're selling a pattern, you have the responsibility to properly test that pattern and do your due diligence. Like, if you're selling anything for profit, it needs to be done correctly. I don't care. I have had this conversation many a time, and I'm a firm believer that if you want to write a pattern, awesome. I totally believe in you writing a pattern, but it needs to be tested. It needs to be tech edited. Somebody, even if you just send it to your friend and you're like, hey, can you check this and make sure I don't sound like an idiot? Like, something needs to be done there, because you're charging people for this. So it's no longer just fun anymore. Like, people are paying for it. You owe them that service. They said, well, like, how are they supposed to grow and learn? And I'm like, I already answered that. You get your feedback when you do your tester thing. It's not like somebody isn't paying for something and they give you feedback based on what they paid, the only thing that they owe you when they buy something from you is to use the product. And like the review is that feedback. So I don't understand why people are like, well, how are they supposed to grow? I don't owe you growth. I bought this from you. It was a service. It was transactional. And then the author wrote back to me and was just like, I get your point, but like, this is a small business, limited resources. You can ruin people's lives with rude comments. Constructive feedback can help them grow, and it's a small act of kindness, like foster growth in the community. And I was just like, no. You have 30,000 subscribers. I understand that subscribers don't necessarily equate to money. There are people following you for stuff. My point with this is, with 7,000 sales, if you're making money off of that, and like, let's say your average across your entire Etsy lifetime, your average price is like $5.99 times 7,000 is almost $42,000. So with $42,000, you couldn't invest into a tech editor. And if you didn't have the money, because that's a choice at that point, if you didn't have the money to invest in a tech editor, you have 30,000 people that are seeing your posts and engaging on here. If I walked around SoCal Fiber Fair and just told people I wanted to become a pattern designer, and they offered to tech edit for me, you can't make a post to your 30,000 subscribers asking if anyone is able to tech edit for you. That's laziness at that point. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to do it. You're just not doing it. So if you don't have the funds, you have to have a different resource. And if you don't have the energy and the capacity to do it, then why are you listing things to sell? Just my opinion. And then on top of it, testers, they're unpaid. Testers are unpaid. So you have no excuse at that point. You have 30,000 people following you, and you can't say, does anybody want to test this for me? Girl. And then the other thing that bothers me with it is they forgot the magic ring. That is your foundation. That is the first thing you do in the pattern, is the magic ring to go into it. I do not care what anyone says. I understand human error. I understand little mistakes. Missing your foundation chain, that's not a little mistake. That's a pretty big oversight. Sorry. And you know who would have noticed that? Testers. So I don't feel bad for you. If I can't even start it because you're missing the magic circle, that 1-star review because you didn't test and you didn't tech edit, you deserve that. I said what I said. And I know that this is going to be like ruffles and feathers part of the video, but I'm in the process of designing patterns. And I specifically said in the first part of this vlog that I'm giving myself 3 months, a month to design, a month to tech edit and test, and then a month to finish like the edits and put them into place. And I think that that's completely reasonable, because if people are going to be paying for this and spending their hard-earned money in this fucking economy, that they absolutely deserve to have a product that is very good and does what they need it to do. Okay, apparently my camera was overheating, and so it died. Long story short is, if you're going to sell a pattern, if you're going to make any type of digital product and not test it, specifically with patterns, especially like crochet and knitting designers, you need to be testing and or tech editing. Just reach out. Like, if you can't afford it, just ask someone if they're willing to do it for you. Like, you have to. There's no downside at this point, like, or there's no alternative. You have to do this. But this person to have as big of a following as they did just like blows my mind that they said that. And someone else commented and they're like, yeah, I have over 60,000 people, but like, I can't afford to do this. And they were like, having followers doesn't equate to this. I was like, you need to reread my post. I just said you have to do it. Like, you can find or ask your community if someone will do it for you until you get big enough where you can do it. Fine. But just writing a pattern and just putting it out without testing it, not it. It's not it, and it's not good enough. Anywho, that's just how I feel about that. I'm honestly, it really like bothered me. That and the same idea of hobbyists going to craft shows and selling their crafts really underpriced because it's just enough for them to keep making the craft. I'm like, no. I don't believe in making products to sell at a cheaper price. If you're going to sell it, you need to do it at industry standard, because it makes all of us look bad. And I don't care if it's not your goal, you're not doing it as a career. Some of us are. And to come in and water down the market because of that, just, it's gross. And then to turn around and be like, well, I'm just a hobbyist, I'm not doing it as a career. Okay, well, the second you start selling it at an actual market, it's no longer a hobby. And so now you need to compete with industry standard, or don't sell it at all. I'm not saying you can't sell to your friends. Like, if your friend's like, hey, I'll give you $20 to make me a hat, if that works for you, cool. But the second you have like a website or a booth or anything that you've had to pay to be a part of, it's not a hobby. And you don't get to act like it is, because then you're taking away from the people that are doing this as a living. And it needs to be even across the board. Anywho, I'm I'm going to get out of the sun for a little bit because I definitely am too pale for this and keep working. I have a few people on Threads who are trying to grow their YouTube channel and they've asked me questions about it. So I'm going to go eat lunch and watch some of these videos and maybe crochet a little more in there while I'm waiting for Austin. And I'll be back to vlog more and update you on how things are going later. Yeah, I'll see you in a bit.